Hey folks, we're out here checking on our burn from last week, the prescribed burn. There's a lot of green grass coming up through, and that's why it's beneficial, is because it allows the native grasses to grow up instead of the weeds and all of that garbage grass. This tree right here is an oak tree I planted a few years ago. It was only like a twig, and now it's a relatively big tree, as you can see. I got a whole bunch of little suckers to cut off though. Burning really gets rid of the big amount of weeds and weed seeds. This is a spot that did not burn, and a spot that did burn right here. You can see all this ground blackberry. The crawling blackberry is all burnt and toasted. Now this is something we tried to avoid right here, and that's an anthill. This will be taken care of as soon as possible with the chickens. We have to take and get ready to put this into hay and pumpkins this year. I take and use a lawn tractor to do hay with, and I cut it loose and I package it into our grain bags that we have, our grain sacks. Over here is where the ferns burnt, some of them. It didn't do so good on the burn. There's another big anthill in here somewhere, but this is what burnt here, and it did nothing that it was supposed to. Now, right now would be a perfect time to burn, but we actually got warnings to not burn from our fire department. It is so dry, even though it's rained. The wind that we've had lately dried everything up. Through here is about the only spot that burned on the ferns that was any good. And that's about the only spot of this field that burned any good, right through here. Not much really burnt. You can see it burns it right down to the ground when it did burn. And that's good to let the grasses and stuff and everything, including our blueberries bushes, burn up through them. Grow up through them. We got a whole bunch of brush and stuff to clear. As you can see, there's big brush bushes and brushy scrub bush. Whole bunch of little maple seedlings all throughout here that I gotta dig up. Got a whole bunch of like almost top hat size blueberries. If you ever look up top hat blueberry bushes, they're like an greenhouse slash front yard container garden blueberry plant. They should be down low like the wild blueberry fields here in Maine. Got a whole bunch of goldenrod that needs to be taken care of. You can hear how crispy the ground is as I walk. This would burn really good. Even though it rained, it never greened up much. The yard's still relatively brown. It also don't help that our geese eat most of the front lawn, and including all of the blueberries off the front lawn. They will literally eat anything and everything. Last winter, Dad and I pruned our apple trees. Here's one of them. This is a dwarf Cortland apple. We got a whole bunch of twigs and stuff that we're gonna chip up to smoke with. Smoke meats and things like that. My next step is getting all the yard work cleaned up and things cleaned up. That's one reason why there hasn't been a video, is because there has been a ton of yard work to do. A ton. I have to cut all this brush out of this area so that we can get this rock wall continued. And all this, those are hostas that need to be planted. And this needs to be raked out, and we're going to put a building here that people can buy eggs and be like a little fruit stand. This is our signpost. Just some logs we cut out of the woods. I'm getting ready to put a rock wall / garden bed around it. There's a whole bunch of little raspberry bushes and little sticker type plants there. I have to clean up this muddy turnaround area, and we gotta replant some plants. We gotta move some of my mother's daffodils. We got a whole bunch of little plants. Those blossom blue flowers. I forget what they're called. Chickens are enjoying this green grass down this way. This is our leach field from our septic tank. The only reason why there's water standing here now is because of the rain that we've had. This never has water stand in it, although until it rains or the snow melts. It gets very muddy and soupy down here. We don't really mow it that much, although we did mow it last year until our mower broke down and it wouldn't mow, so we just let it go. We were gonna burn it, but it turned green too quickly, and then we had the issue where we couldn't burn much. We had a flying squirrel nest up in this nesting box here for birdhouse last year, and this year I haven't seen any activity in it. This path I'm walking up right now, well, beginning of a path. This area here we're planning into building a sugar shack for maple syrup. This is close to the Harlan piece. We got a groundhog that digs holes. Where is it? There's so much glare right now. You can see that big hole right there. It goes quite a ways down. We have some logs that we got to cut out of here, some firewood. All kinds of poplar have died. We had trees come down last year and we cut them up for firewood, and we're gonna plant this. Besides where we're gonna make a driveway, we're gonna plant this into maple trees. All those saplings that are what I need to dig up are gonna be moved over here and planted into a grove of maple, so that when I get older and I still own this farm, I can have them to tap for maple syrup. The chickens have actually been down here, cleaned this all up, scraped it into piles, and then did a big mess. I think it's actually going to help get rid of this leaf litter. We don't need to get rid of it, but we were going to do a burn down here just to get rid of it so that new stuff can grow up and we can have a whole bunch of new plants. This is another trail. There's a whole bunch of plants down that way that are rare, that are on the endangered species list, so we can't plant down that way or disturb that area. They're possibly on the endangered species list, I should say. I'm going to build a set of stairs right here with some rocks and pavers and things, so that's easier to get down off this hill every time we finish boiling. There's wren and willow, our last year's geese that hatched out at the last of the year for hatching. Willow! Hey, Willow! That's Willow and that's Wren. We got a big patch of wild raspberries and a whole bunch of garbage that we gotta pick up. All these cardboard boxes are gonna be burnt. We had them all in a pile and the wind picked up and blew them into this bramble patch and raspberry patch. That's a popple tree right there that's got to be cut out. This is a sumac. Not poison sumac, just it's called a sumac tree. It's got a lot of fuzz on it. I don't know if you can see that. Yes, you can. I hope. They actually make spiles. The Indians used to make spiles out of this. I will show you guys how to make them next year when it comes time to maple syrup season. Although we don't use our wooden spiles anymore due to we've gotten into the tubing and we can't use them much anymore. We have a lot of things that need to be done. The birds have to all be fenced in this year so that we can breed them and get true birds. We have ducks that need to be separated, we have geese that need to be separated, we have Buff Orpington chickens that need to be separated, our guineas need to be separated, and all of the above. I'll see you guys on the next video. I gotta go in and do some schoolwork and let you say goodbye to Poppy Jr. Poppy Jr. Yes. What?